This past summer had perhaps the largest cinema experience in recent memory, and it happened when two seemingly unrelated movies decided to open on the very same day. One movie about a childhood toy, and another the backstory of the largest mass killing in modern history. I know, none of it makes any sense, just hang with me. If you haven't connected the dots yet, this was the summer of Barbenheimer. Barbie, Oppenheimer. Full disclosure, I haven't seen either, but I'm pretty sure you don't have to see them. I know what they're about. Barbie, it's about probably putting out good outfits together, wearing nice clothes, hanging out with your best friends and your pals, going down water slides and jet skis. I don't know, girl stuff. Oppenheimer is about the atom bomb. These two movies took over the public's attention like nothing in recent memory, propelling Barbie to be the biggest money-wise movie of the year and Oppenheimer to be the largest ever grossing R-rated movie. And I say all this to simply introduce you to a director, Christopher Nolan, a modern directing superstar, the man behind great movies like the aforementioned Oppenheimer, Interstellar, The Prestige, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises, and the movie that I want to talk to you about is Inception. The movie Inception is crazy. The premise is this: an agency has figured out how to get into your dreams. And once inside of your dreams, they can place and alter your memories, make them feel as if they were real, and cause you to subtly wonder what is real and what is not. The goal of this is for people to be able to manipulate others into doing what they want to do, all the while making the person who's being manipulated think that it was their idea all along. And anyways, it's out of control. The climax of this movie is when a group of agents needs to pull off a triple inception, which means they need to go inside of someone's dream, and then in that dream, go into another dream. And then once in the second dream, they need to sneak into a third dream. It's a dream within a dream within a dream. What kind of place is this? All these dreams within dreams got me thinking about this series we're in. This series called My New Playlist. Just like Dreams Within Dreams, this is a series where we are thinking about what we think about. In other words, we need to inception ourselves. We need to rewire our own thinking to eliminate the bad thoughts and replace them with the better ones. We think a little awareness and effort can help us be students that change our outlook on life by simply changing the way that we think. We are trying to slow down enough to process the thoughts that we have on a daily basis and decide if those thoughts are true, if they're helpful or kind. And if they aren't, we need to work at retiring those thoughts like Taylor talked about last week. So, question for you. How's it going? How's it going retiring those thoughts? Was it just like a Band-Aid? Did you just rip them off and never think about them again? I just decided to stop thinking I was lonely. I just figured I'd stop being anxious. I just stopped thinking my parents love my siblings more than me. I'll just stop believing that I'm too ugly for any boy to ever like me, or I'm too short to make the basketball team. How's that going? Bad, I'd imagine. Because just deciding to retire thoughts is only part of the solution. After you decide to retire something, you actually have to start replacing them with better thoughts. And this replacement works better if you think back to the idea of inception. You can't just easily swap something out. You have to slowly sneak in there and slowly change it over time. And in order to do this well, you're gonna need a big helping of what we're talking about next week, so make sure you come back to that. The first thing worth thinking about when you want to replace and retire your negative thoughts is, what should you be replacing them with? Paul writes this in Philippians 4, 8, and 9. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. And later in verse 9, it wraps it all up and says this: and the God of peace will be with you. If you want to retire your negative thoughts, you got to start replacing them with good thoughts. Here's some examples of that. Whatever is true. Maybe you need to remind yourself that you're a child of God. Whatever is noble. Maybe you need to start thinking about stories of kids your age standing up for being bullied and attacked, and the next day they show up, their chins are held high. Remind yourself of that. Whatever is right. Maybe you need to remind yourself that your worth isn't attached to your accomplishments. Whatever is pure. What music are you listening to that reminds you of the goodness of God, not the brokenness of man? Whatever is lovely. Have you ever sat in nature? Have you appreciated the creation all around you? Have you reminded yourself that if God put so much effort into making this world so beautiful, how much more would he love you? Whatever is admirable. You wanna think of someone who's admirable? Maybe it's your coach who gives up their weekend every single week to hang out with you and all your idiosyncrasies, you and all your weirdness. And listen, I've been around junior hires. I know you're weird. Embrace that. You know who else has? Your coach. They love you and they're willing to be Jesus to you consistently. If we want to keep replacing our thoughts with ones like these, we have to work on our inception. Because if we start thinking about things that are positive about ourselves, more often we will think about ourselves from God's perspective, not our own. Before we hit groups, can I just give you 3 quick tips that I think will help make replacing your thoughts a little bit more doable? Here they are. I'll be quick, but I think it's helpful. One is this: your thoughts are a dial. They're not just a switch. What do I mean by that? It's not a Band-Aid. You can never totally eliminate the thoughts that are hurtful or unkind or untrue, but you can for sure turn them down. You can lower the volume of those negative thoughts and raise the volumes of the ones that are true and right and lovely. Tip number 2, I think this is helpful. Think about the times in your life when you feel like the negative thoughts have been dialed up. Is it when you're dealing with family drama or friend drama or maybe school drama? When you notice those negative thoughts start to get turned way up, you're actually halfway to the solution, because now you can focus on turning those thoughts down and turning up the good thoughts, the Philippians thoughts, the true, noble, admirable thoughts that we talked about earlier. And tip number 3 is this: think about what things help you turn down those negative thoughts. But once you notice that your thoughts are starting to become toxic, what things can you do to start changing the way that you think? Maybe it's go for a run. Maybe it's eat a donut. That works for me. Maybe it's get some sleep, hang with some friends, spend time listening to uplifting music, spend some time reminding yourself of the positive words of Scripture. What if we were students that noticed when our negative thoughts were turned up? And instead of allowing those to drive our life, what if we started the inception process? What if we started turning those thoughts down and started turning up the encouraging ones, the ones that point us to Jesus? I'd imagine we find it a whole lot easier to consistently be Christ-centered difference makers if we did that. Before we go, let me read Philippians 4:8 to you one more time as just a reminder of the things we should be replacing our thoughts with. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things.